Hey, Green Machine friends and fans of fun. We have a little bit of news. What news do we have? I forget. Oh, we're gonna have a big sale tomorrow. A huge sale. We'll have a bigger sale for subscribers, is what it'll be. So it's gonna be, I think, 25% off stacks. You say stacks? Spendex stacks, and then we're gonna do buy one get one half off for back issues for non-subscribers, and then for actual pull list subscribers, we will do 75% off back issues. So it's going to be one heck of a sale. You must be a sub for a month. There's no messing around with that sort of thing. So let's see what else. Oh, please like and subscribe. Every like and subscribe that we get helps a young mutant go through a gate and find a new home in Krakoa. So it's a very important and dear fundraiser to our hearts. So please like and subscribe. Let's see what else is going on. We had a lot of engagement in the last video. It was kind of wild. We had I think the one people I liked was Two Brothers Comics. They have a pretty good channel going on over there, and so I went and watched a few of their videos. They did a live stream, so I threw them on in the shop. I think their comment though was like, "I love your backdrop," and it's like it's an actual comic shop. Like it's we didn't put together a weird backdrop. It's from our shop. But what was weird was like it led me. So I was just clicking around YouTube, and I went from comic reviews to actual book reviews. And a lot of those are done by young women. And I wound up on this one where she's like sipping coffee and it just being really polite and respectful. And it honestly felt like Bob Ross doing like book reviews is the way she pulled it off. And wait a minute. Now hear me out. Bob Ross doing comic reviews.
That'd be cool.
What do you think?
I think that'd be cool.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey, thanks for joining us today on Coffee and Comics. If you don't know me, I'm Bob Ross's lesser-known cousin, Balding Ross, and I'll be your host for Coffee and Comics. And I'm drinking a delicious, tasty and warm Kilimanjaro blend today. It's just a lovely thing. It reminds me of sunsets in Connecticut. It is just delightful. Just delightful. You know, let's just get to the first books, I think, today. I've got a lot of books. They come in all sorts of colors in this issue. There's the titanium white, the ruby red, and the Dr. Manhattan blue. And that's in good old Archie and Katie Keene. Now, there's no Dr. Manhattan in this issue of Archie and Katie Keene, but what there is plenty of soap opera going back and forth, because it seems that Archie's girlfriend Sabrina has befriended one of his enemies. A frenemy, I guess you could say. And that's a lot of fun, I think. The art is really good. The story is good. There's just a lot to write home about with this Archie story, but you really have to like soap opera comics. But I think it's pretty good. Next book on the list is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, if you don't know about this Guardians of the Galaxy run, it's a combination of teams. It's the old team and the more newer team, but we don't have Cosmic Ghost Rider on it. Who we do have, though, is Groot. And he's actually not in this issue, but, you know, Groot, well, he's a happy little tree. He's definitely a happy little tree. I love me some Groot. You know what else I love? This coffee. It takes me back.
If I can chime in for a second, sometimes you just got to beat the devil out.
Next book on our list is the Critical Role Vox Machina. Now, there is a lot of violence in this fantasy, but it's good violence, I'd have to say. It's fun. It's a wholesome story. I've had such a good time with this. In this issue in particular, we see a Dungeons and Dragons archetype that I don't really know that actually uses a firearm. I want to know so much more about this character. Well, you get that in this issue, and it's just wonderful. I have to tell you, it's very, very, very good. Next is Transformers, and I think one of the Titans which are giant Transformer spaceships. One of the Titans in play right now is actually the ship that takes them to Earth eventually, that they flee off from Cybertron. I'm not entirely sure, but it's pretty good. Not as good as this coffee, but still pretty delightful, I do have to tell you. So yeah, this issue is definitely a go pick it up, for sure. Next is Deadly Class, and you know, Deadly Class, I have to tell you that as far as art is concerned, Deadly Class, in my opinion, is top tier. They use a lot of red, though. I can't figure it out. Why do you think that a comic about assassins hidden in San Francisco would use a lot of red? What do you think, Yogi?
I think that's something you got to beat out of it, Steve.
Oh, you got to beat the devil out. Well, that I got to tell you, that happens in this issue because there is just a massive amount of violence. Man, what a great issue of Deadly Class. I had a good time with this issue. It was adventurous. So much adventure, and I never had to leave the house. This coffee is amazing. So I think this will be the last we do as Balding Ross, and then we're going to hand it back over to that lovely fellow, Steve Mix. So the last is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and I got to tell you that as far as art is concerned, this is amazing. You get a Inyuk Lee cover. On top of that, the art inside of this is just to die for. Now, I don't think Bob Ross ever painted He-Man figures in action like this, but if he did, it might have looked something like this, because you know what we get in this issue? We get the original He-Man cartoon, and it's amazing. It really is to see that in there. It's Eternia Prime, and I was happy about that. So it's a great, great issue, and if you've been following the story, you're not missing out. Plus, we might get the... What is the evil He-Man called? Anti-He-Man?
Yeah, anti-He-Man.
Yeah, we do get an anti-Skeletor glimpse at one point. It's pretty cool.
Well, talking about Keldor, the one we've been
No,
following?
not Keldor.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Then there's Bloodshot. And Bloodshot, Bloodshot's got a problem. He's just getting tired of the assassin life, so he's trying to find a way to escape it. And he's got to remind the nanites that they work for him. And he does so in this issue. It's amazing. What do you get in this issue? Well, you get a lot of grays and reds. It's okay. But it's lovely. It is lovely. Well, it's Captain America. And this story has just transcended and grown. And in this issue in particular, a lot of stuff is revealed. It blew my little mind. I was just flabbergasted by all that happened in this issue. So if you're a Cap fan, you really won't be disappointed with this issue. I gotta tell you. Next is Bang. And, Bang says on the cover, a great effed up blend of James Bond and Tintin. And that quote came from Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves gave them that quote. That's what it says. Now, he's got the potty language going on, but I do have to tell you that it does feel like James Bond met Tintin. And it was kind of fun, and at times a little old-timey, but I liked it. It's a good spy thriller, so come pick up Bang. It's a #1. You really can't go wrong with this week. We'll get right back to you in a minute. Old Steve Mix will take back over. I'm gonna go finish this cup of coffee.
Hey, welcome back, Green Machine friends and fans of fun. I don't know, that joke might have been a little long, but we're just trying to keep it entertaining around here. So, but I don't know, I had a good time doing it, so that's fun. So let's dive back into everything else. Transformers Galaxies, what do you get with this issue? Well, you get the wrap-up. I didn't know it was going to end after 4 issues, which is kind of weird since I think the last issue was delayed quite some time. But it was a pretty good wrap-up. The Insecticons sort of played the Constructicons, and the Constructicons sort of let loose, and it is what it is. But, you do get a little bit more empathy towards the Constructicons. Maybe not with what they did, but, to the fact that they sort of got cornered into the Decepticons at one point. So yeah, it was not a bad story. Anyways, so that's issue 4. Come pick it up. I do recommend you don't start with that. If you're looking to jump in on that series, go back a couple issues. You will be confused. Next is Conan the Barbarian, issue number 13, Into the Crucible. And, well, you know, Conan's hanging out in a town where he doesn't speak the language, and it seems like they're having all these tests of might. And then, you know, when you prove yourself one of the mightiest warriors, what happens? Well, you wind up in Hyborian Hunger Games. That's what you get in this issue. It's very much Conan Hunger Games. That's to say, I had a good time with it. There's plenty of booby traps and fighting and everything else and competition. It's fun, but you know, it was a little unexpected. And this is Jim Zub, Rogelio Antonio, and Israel Silva. It's pretty good. Come pick it up. Next is, I'm so happy to see this series return, and that is Bitterroot. Now, Bitterroot, if you don't know, it uses an in-your-face metaphor for racism as monstrous, and which it really is. And how do you deal with it? How do you face these sort of evil machinations of the humankind? And what do you do? Do you grow? Do you heal? Do you fight? Or do you succumb to it? And they're tackling all of that in just this amazing series with these really, really fun characters. They're just awesome. And that's Walker, Brown, Green, Dodgson, and Cowles. Dennis Cowles is on this, which it makes sense. Dennis Cowles is on a lot of good stuff like this. So I honestly, I love this series. I have the best time with this series. You know what this series feels like? It does feel like a milestone book, like that walked out of the 90s, but has like updated artwork. It's really, really awesome. So it's issue 6. Come pick it up. Next is Batman, issue number 89, Sad Face. Every copy is spoken for. Everyone snatched it up. And the reason for that is, well, it's a first appearance, or I think we said it might be a second appearance, but it's a first appearance in Batman of Joker's girlfriend. Yeah, new girlfriend. And it's not Harley. And meanwhile, Catwoman and a few of the other villains of Gotham entered into a contract a while ago with a new villain, and the new villain has showed up and decided to enact this contract, which, you know, Catwoman's now on Batman's side, so it's put her at odds with him. And yes, the last issue ended with Harley showing up, and, well, she's a little PO'd. She's finally decided she's had enough of Joker, and she's just going to outright kill him. So I'm pretty sure we're getting a collision course of the battle of the X and the current. But nonetheless, it was a pretty good read. I did have a good time with it. More importantly, the Riddler has grown up a lot because the way he handles himself, at least in this story so far, dipping out when he needs to dip out and popping in when he needs to pop in. You forget sometimes, with as campy as the Riddler is, he's super intelligent. That's one of his traits. So now that they've sort of removed the campiness and made him a bit more creepy, he's turning out to be something pretty awesome. So we'll have to wait and see where this goes. But it was a pretty good read. Next is Fantastic Four, issue number 19, and this is the point of origin conclusion, which really the last issue sort of felt like the conclusion. This one, well, yeah, it is kind of a wrap-up. We do get a big fight, and what I will say is, again, this is the Fantastic Four at their best. It feels like the family has come together once again to tackle what they need to tackle, to be who they are, and a lot of times we don't get that kind of stuff from them. That's why they've fallen off, is people seem to miss the family aspect, and Slott here has really nailed it with the storyline right here. So this is Slott, Azaxi, and Menyes. This is great. Awesome job. I had the best time with this arc. Next is Death to the Army of Darkness. And if you can't tell from this variant cover, there are a lot of ashes in play. And no, that's not just a weird variant cover. There are a lot of Ash Campbells in play. Bruce Campbell. Ash.
Well, no, Ash is the character's name.
What is his Leslie? Ashley.
His first name.
I can.
What's his last name?
It's gonna fail me now. Okay, but Bruce Campbell's Ash. There's multiple versions of them. I mean, lots. We've only seen, I think, 6 in this one. Ash Williams, that's right. Ash Williams. And, of course, the story opens with S-Mart. Why wouldn't it open with S-Mart? You gotta shop smart. Shop S-Mart. But Ash it opens, he's offered a job. The job he turns down, or he's offered a raise and a promotion, and he turns it down. And the reason for it is, well, he doesn't want more responsibility. I love Ash. He's such a hero that does the right thing, but it's very reluctant all the time. Yeah, this is some good writing. I can't tell who the writer is. Oh, here it is. It's Ryan Parrott. And we have Diaz for the colorist. The main cover is Oliver. The artist is Edgar, Jacob Edgar. Yeah, so there's just a lot of good in this. It feels like an extension of the movies, and that's really what we want as Evil Dead fans. So yeah, come pick this up for sure.
Oh, that is the bonus variant, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Next is Firefly, issue number 14. And while I do like the story, I like where they've gone with the story, I gotta tell you, something about the art did not feel right in this issue. It almost felt like just short of that really awesome art in The Question, the Black Label one, which was great. It was great. It was the perfect amount of like penciling and shading. Something about this though, it felt like too much pencil, and I'm really a fan of ink and heavy lines. I hate to say it. So I didn't hate it. But as an art snob, I didn't love it. The story is still good. It's still that same Firefly gusto that we've come to really like out of this story. Greg Pak, the artist is Sharma and Segala. It's still a good showing, and as a Firefly fan, I was not disappointed. It wasn't my favorite of all the comics. That's what I'm going to say. Next is Blade Runner 2019, and while this series has really sort of, like, it's been a good series, it really hit its stride in this story. Like, it started feeling like that pressure of the Blade Runner story sort of peaking and coming together, and all little things are being revealed, and the detective is cracking the case at the same time. It's great. This is what you want from cyberpunk fiction, and it's perfect. So Michael Green, Mike Johnson, and Andres Gianaldo, I'm sorry. Blade Runner 2019 is awesome. Come pick this up. Don't start with that book, though. Don't start with that book. Come back and get a couple back issues first. Next is Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid saga. And, you know, I keep trying to like this art. I really, really, really do. But something about it doesn't sit right with me. It's the way he draws eyes. Eyes look really dead. I don't know what it is. They don't look right to me. So anyways, this is Tipton, McLeod, and Delgado. I didn't hate it. Again, the art I'm kind of picky when it comes to art. What you do get is more than the last issue. The last issue felt like it was just a straight retelling of one of the episodes of Cobra Kai. The first issue gave us extra backstory. The second issue was like just straight out of Cobra Kai. The third issue, though, does flesh out some stuff that happened to Daniel and Johnny way, way back in the day during the original like Karate Kid story. And that's what I really want out of this. I want to get more of that backstory. I want to see more that we didn't necessarily see in the movies. And you do get that in this. So, yeah, come pick this up. It's great. Just, if you're an art snob, pick it up and thumb through it first. Next is DCeased, Unkillables. Oh, my God. So much to unpack from this. I'm gonna gush for a minute. First of all, it's centering around Jason Todd mostly, and everybody who knows me knows I'm a giant Red Hood fanboy. I love the decisions he makes, and you know it plays out perfect. The writer has really sort of nailed it in this. It's Taylor Mostert, Scott Edwards, Livesey, and Locust. He nailed it. He knocked it out of the park. It felt right. Jason Todd, of all things, he's living through the zombie apocalypse, and he sees Dead Joker, and what do you think he feels? What do you think he feels, Yogi?
Nothing. Wait. The recoil.
No, he felt regret that he didn't kill him.
That sounds about right to you.
That's great. And then it's also going to center around some of the villains. And some of the villains have decided to go hide on an island that has the lobster bug. Do you know the lobster bug?
Is that like the rock lobster?
Kind of. It's a bug that originally, when like rats migrated from ships, they ate all these bugs and they made them extinct. And then just like 2 years ago, they found an island that was full of them. And they're these weird like land lobster bugs that like move all slow, and they're kind of cool and stuff like that. But the island itself, if you've seen the island, you would wonder if anything could live on it. It's like a giant shark fin rock. It doesn't look like there's any vegetation. And that's, of course, where the villains decide to go to regroup and camp out. So one of them makes, like, no joke, makes lobster bug t-shirts. Because he's on board with this theme. It's great. This DCeased Unkillables is awesome. It honestly, it opens better than the last one did, in my opinion. And that's saying a lot. Yes, it's taking place in the middle of the plague. Batman has already lost the fight. We know who's fallen. But yeah, it's great. Come pick it up. Next is Marvel's Voices. I have not listened to this podcast. Have you? No. Apparently this is based on a podcast, and they took a bunch of stories from the podcast and retold them in visual form. I think that's how it goes. I'm not entirely sure. But so you might be able to listen to the podcast and get these stories. Now, are the stories great? They're pretty good. They're a little short for comic form. I will say that. It's like a couple pages per story. I wanted to know so much more on these stories, but I have little to complain about. It was a pretty good read. The art was great. Was really good. It's a bunch of artists, but you know, there was literally nothing to complain about with the art. It was outstanding. So yeah, this is a damaged copy. Some of our books got damaged this week. It's kind of a sad face thing. But Marvel Voices #1, come pick this up. It's pretty good. Next is, well, Justice League number 41, and let me give you a dad joke. How about that?
Okay. Shoot.
If you were a Kryptonian robot, where would you get your powers?
No, I got nothing.
From the sun, Ray-Bans. Metropolis Kid. Oh, God, I hate the Eradicator. He's not my favorite villain, by far. In fact, anyone who knows me knows that I absolutely cannot stand the Death of Superman event. And the Rise of the Superman is not my favorite either. So whenever I see Eradicator on the cover, well, I just want to go bury the book in the desert. Now, what I will tell you is, as a Justice League fan, I still had a pretty good time with this story. It involves the Eradicator sort of galvanizing some former members of Krypton and bringing them to Earth to take over, and, you know, that's all good. But their weakness is kryptonite. They can't really fight with that because Superman's there as well. So what do you jump to? What's Superman's next weakness? What do you think?
Lack of sun?
No, well, that would be one. There's one more.
Oh, magic.
Magic, yeah. So they're tapping magic, trying to get a magician in play, and you know it's pretty good. It's definitely got some good writing, but it's Venditti, Lopresti, Ryan, and Barron. My problem is that the art it feels not as tuned in as the other issues, and the writing is again not as tuned in because it's not Snyder anymore. It's not. We don't have Snyder on board right now. It's Venditti. So I don't hate it. But it's just not the best Justice League, and again, Eradicator is not particularly a fun villain in my opinion, but it is what it is. Next is Marauders, and that's issue number 8, and oh, sad face, Kate Pryde has died. What? So yeah, Shadowcat died. She pretty much got drowned in the last issue. They've confirmed she's dead, and that's a problem because while the island nation of Krakoa can resurrect any mutant at all, it's still a sentient mutant that chooses to do so, and for whatever reason, it was not letting Kate Pryde through the portals. So, yeah, she's not really accepted by the island, so will she be resurrected? We don't know. Is it fun? Yeah, it's good writing. We got the Black King who pretty much instrumented her death so he could put his son on the throne, and so the Black King, the White Queen, and somebody trying to take the Red King or Queen's throne. But it's good. So Marauders number 8, I had a great time. Go figure, Jerry Duggan
Caselli and Delgado. It's great writing. Come pick it up.
All right, next book on our list is Atlantis Attacks. Now, this is Pack, Andanito, and Rosenberg. This is, well, it's Namor versus Agents of Atlas. So while it says Atlantis Attacks, it's really Atlantis Attacks Pan, which is awesome, I gotta tell you. So Namor showed up and he basically said, your dragon that is powering Pan is our dragon, and I want my dragon back. Give me my dragon! That's what he said. Where is my dragon? He basically mothered of dragons them. And so he gave him 24 hours. Namor was reasonable. He gave him 24 hours, and he wasn't sure if that's a mistake or not. Meanwhile, they're going to transition the dragon over peacefully. They try to transition the dragon over peacefully, and it blows up in their face in the most hysterical of ways. I honestly laughed out loud with how bad this stuff went. It's great. If I mean, you know what you get with Greg Pak. He can, when he's ready, he can make dominoes fall in really, really hysterical ways, and that's what happened here. So yeah, come pick this up. If you're an Agents of Atlas fan, you will love this. If you are a Namor fan, you will love this. Trust me, come pick it up. It's great. Last book on our list, which is probably going to be the most requested book of the week, and sad face, we only have like 3 copies for the shelf because everybody and their mother came in special order to copy. And that is Wolverine. I'm holding the Alex Ross variant. But yeah, the mainline cover is pretty awesome too. I do think that the Alex Ross is probably my favorite. No, I think the party variant is my favorite. If you opt into the party, you get Wolverine wearing a party hat. But you have to opt in for the midnight release type stuff, and it's kind of funny looking. Now, what do you get in this? Well, you get 2 separate stories. They're not necessarily related, but the second story sets the stage for something that might be really, really awesome to see. And that is, are you ready for it?
Oh, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. So while the humankind is reeling from the mutants declaring their sovereignty and everything else, guess who rises up? You know, certain dark group of individuals that don't like the sun.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And on top of that, it's good. It's really good. This is Benjamin Percy writing it. And the artist is Bogdanovich, and then Wilson is the color artist. It was awesome. Really, really good. That second story, the first story was pretty funny. That second story was absurdly cool. It felt like, what was the Tom Cruise vampire movie?
Oh, Interview.
Interview with the Vampire. That's what it felt like. It felt like a bit of Interview with the Vampire and then got a little twisted at the end. You need to really come read it. It's great. So, again, these are $7.99, Wolverine issue number 1. I think everyone should be buying it. I just wish you could be buying it from us. We didn't have enough copies. A lot of people special ordered. You can always special order, though. We will try to get you whatever copies are left. So if you really want a copy, come in and talk to us. Now we're going to do our go and no-go list. And these are going to be the Fast and the Furious reviews. I'm going to do, talk about it. Give you one thing, go or no-go. A Darkened Wish, I would say, is a no-go. I didn't connect at all with this D&D story. It was kind of miss for me. And it's the last one. So, The Amazing Mary Jane is not a book written towards me. I feel like this is written more towards women. So, for me, it's a no-go. But I know a lot of other people really like it. It's just not my jam. So, I'm going to say on the fence. Next is Deadpool, issue number 3. Go. There were a couple moments I laughed out loud pretty hard. It's a good read. Go. Plus Elsa Bloodstone's in it. Plunge. This is the new Hill House comic that centers around, well, a ghost ship. A ghost ship. Go. Had a good time. Jane Foster Valkyrie. This is still a go. But it's kind of weird. She just healed death, and now she's going to heal the earth. I don't know what that means. Is she going to fight global warming? We need it. Anyways, it's a go. Invader Zim, issue 49. This is a go if you like Invader Zim. If you're anyone else, I guess it's a no-go. Oh, man. Machine Man 2020. Look at all the people that worked on this, and I wanted to like it. I really, really did. It feels like a creepy robot stalker. That's what the storyline feels like. It's a no-go. I'm sorry. It's totally a no-go. Unless, if you like really weird comics, you might like it. New Mutants issue 7. It's a go, but I don't like the New Mutants in space stuff as much as the other New Mutants back on Earth. It's still a go. Sarah and the Royal Stars is a fantasy story I have not read. It's a bit adult at times. There is some nudity. That said, it was still pretty fun. Go. On the Stump. Brown, Presley, and Dennis Cowles is on this. This is, well, it's politics crossed with wrestling. It's a weird combination, but I had a good time with it. So go. Ghost Spider, issue 7. This is, well, it's pretty good. Go. I don't want to say who the villain is because he just appeared in this issue and I don't want to spoil it. But if you know her, you kind of sort of know that they've crossed paths with this villain more than a few times. It's a go. It's pretty good. This cover, too, is amazing. Spawn, Hellhunt Part 4, issue number 305. Go. But I really like the She-Spawn stuff. She feels like Spawn crossed with Predator. I mean, not Predator. Predator? Punisher. I got my P anti-heroes confused. Predator doesn't count as any. He's a villain. I did root for him in Predator vs. Aliens, though. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, Spawn, Hellhunt Part 4, it's a go. It's pretty good. They're doing weird things. He's sort of ambushing hell and heaven. So it's Spawn's machinations now, which is kind of weird. Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. This is awesome. Every single time I think that the Cosmic Ghost Rider stuff is going to start getting stale, they pull it out of the fire. I had a good time with this book. Go. Flash forward, the Wally West redemption story is wrapping up with this issue 6, and go. It's touching. As a father, it's kind of touching. On top of that, we get a certain chair from, a certain set of gods that appears, and it's kind of cool. If that chair ever shows up, that Batman's probably got chair PTSD going on. Everyone else has Batman chair PTSD going on. Batman is creepy on that chair. So anyways, that's in this issue. Come pick it up. Next is The Goon. This is issue, number 8. This is the cardstock variant. I grabbed it because it was the prettiest one. This story was awesome because the villain, even I didn't see coming, and it was hysterical. It was so funny. I laughed multiple times. But again, I really like this writer-artist. He's amazing. The guy that wrote Hillbilly. What's his name? Eric Powell. Eric Powell wrote and drew Hillbilly. It's awesome. Come pick it up. Undiscovered Country. Again, this is Snyder's book, and it's weird, apocalyptic, crazy America, but it's really, really captivating. He's built something strange and fun. So yeah, come pick this up. Lastly is Wonder Woman Dead Earth, and I don't want to slight this book because I know there are people that really, really like this artist and seem to really bond with this kind of stuff, but this apocalypse doesn't feel fun to me. It just feels like a rusty nail that you don't want to touch kind of deal, apocalypse. Like, it's just gross and weird. I don't know. I'm not bonding with the story. I'm sorry. I think it's a no-go. But if you read the first one and you liked it, you know who you are, then it's a go for you. So, draw 3? Draw 3. Oh. Is it recording? Yeah. Oh, okay. Draw 3. Ready? Here we go. First one is 410. That's a new sub.
All right. That's going to be Lucky Caitlin.
Oh, Lucky. Lucky, you won a poster. 88.
All the way to the bottom.
Right?
Alejandro Bonilla.
Hey, Alex Bonilla. You won a poster. And 126.
Ron English.
Ron English. You guys have all won posters. So that's our show for this week. Come in and get some fine sales tomorrow. We will dazzle you with our sales. And, yeah, that's it. Okay.